Today is February the 10th, 2013. I stand in front of the Valdosta Daily Times only because of what happened in Atlanta, around the Macon area, with the civil rights legend, the Honorable Tyrone Brooks. But before I talk about Tyrone Brooks, I want to talk about comments that was posted on the Lakefront blog by John Quarterman. This post is not by John Quarterman, it's on his blog. Someone chose to make accusations about me, and I've been expecting this to happen. And so I welcome the challenge here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, in the United States of America. Accusations such as disrupting a public meeting, touching other people without their consent, squeezing the body parts of another human being, keep calling someone baby, and that I intimidate people and that I have and possess sexist behavior, that if I keep calling another human being baby, that they are going to ask me to leave a public meeting here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America. I have the person's name, I have their title, but I'm not going to give you that yet. I believe in John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set and make you free. But I want to make this up front. I'm not going to do what other people do. I'm going to say to you up front that I am by the grace of my God, and I'm ready for the challenge. Always have been, always will be. So I'm going to say to those behind the curtain, door number 3, if you want to go down that road, then read Galatians 6 and 7, then back it up with little David, or rather King David, in the 35th Psalms. So much for that. The Honorable Tyrone Brooks was reading in a paper out of Atlanta, and then Patrick Davis out of Macon, that they have accusations against him as far as taking money from G.B.R, that's Georgia Association of Black Elected Officials. I don't know much about that. I understand that 2 people from G.B.R have been subpoenaed, one being Miss Lucas. I'll talk about her in a few minutes. And another black African-American lady. I'm going to ask you to please listen to Brother Rhynes, because this thing is getting serious now. Let me say this concerning the accusations against my friend and brother and civil rights legend, Tyrone Brooks, out of Atlanta, that served the citizens of his district in an outstanding manner. Let me say this about Tyrone Brooks. I don't know nothing about the situation with G.B.R, but let me tell you this. Let me tell you what I do know. I do know that when the Equipment 10 were arrested 3 days before Christmas in 2010, that Tyrone Brooks came to Brooks County to stand up for voting rights in Brooks County in the state of Georgia in the United States of America. That I do know. I do know that Tyrone Brooks is a legend in his own time. Let me tell you what I do know. I know that when it seemed like David Miller, the DA, and Assistant DA Brad Shealy, and others apparently chose to get justice against what we perceive to be some of the best citizens in Brooks County. And so they indicted them for alleged voter fraud, handling absentee ballots in an inappropriate manner. And the people in that community was outraged. Now, I'm from Brooks County, and I know from a child, I went to school and I graduated from Washington Street High School, an all-black school, and blacks have never been a majority anywhere in the Brooks County school system. And so, for the first time in history, blacks dominated the Brooks County Board of Education, and some people didn't like it, in my most humble opinion. And Tyrone Brooks came down to check it out with Representative David Lucas, with late Senator Robert Brown, with Miss Helen Butler, with others from the People's Agenda. They planned, they strategized, and they showed support for the Equipment 10 at that time. Now it's Equipment 12. And had not Representative Tyrone Brooks came to Brooks County, I believe that the Equipment 10 would have been prosecuted already. They would have been to trial and they'd have been serving time in prison. So I commend my beautiful brother, and as I said before, I don't know about Tyrone Brooks and G.B.R, but let me tell you what I do know. Tyrone Brooks walked in Slab Town in Brooks County. He came down and walked the grounds of Walker Street Auditorium to plan for an event that the news media would ignore with nearly 200 people in attendance. The news media in South Georgia totally ignored it as if though there was a tree that fell in the forest. Then they try to tell us that the forest does not exist, yet the limbs fell on some of our children. And so we know the forest exists, and we know that the tree fell. And so this is what has happened here in South Georgia. And it just may be that these accusations against your little brother, George Boston Rhynes, is a result of what I do. And if it is, be that as it may, but I served my country in foreign countries, just like many black African Americans went to Vietnam, Korea, Germany, and other places to fight for this nation, only to come home to fight all over again. And even to hear the denigration of the first black African American president talked about in ways that is unprecedented in the history of this, in our beloved nation. Yet we served honorably. We received Medal of Honor, Purple Hearts. Many of our relatives died, and yet still got to come home and fight all over again, just like my granduncle did. And so we're used to the fighting. We're used to the fighting. Don't mind fighting. Don't mind being lied about. It's something about living in a black house that people just don't understand. And so I'm here to say to my representative, Tyrone Brooks, brother, we stand with you from the backwoods of South Georgia. You walk Slab Town. You walk to Nigger Branch over in Quitman with us. You know our pain down here. Al Sharpton, my beautiful brother, he didn't come to the Quitman 10. The Honorable Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, he didn't come. The Honorable Oprah Winfrey, we love her, but she didn't come to Brooks County. CNN didn't come to Brooks County. ABC, Fox News didn't come to Brooks County, yet we had over 600 people to march on the Brooks County Courthouse to show that we supported the Quitman 10. But the news media wasn't there. But Tyrone Brooks was. So my beautiful brother and G.B.R, I'm asking that all black leaders and all white right leaders stand around our beautiful brother and let us understand that Jesus was not taken to the cross of Calvary by the wicked. He was taken to the cross of Calvary by those who say that they love the God of the universe. But somebody have disguised themselves so well that they masquerade as believers in God. They masquerade as followers of Allah in Islam. They masquerade themselves as following Jehovah, Buddha, and other individuals. But in the end, the truth is, do you really want for your neighbor that which you want to have for yourself and members in your own family? That's the question. And so, I didn't understand years ago what it meant to serve in the armed forces, to protect the rights of others in foreign lands, only to return home to have at a public meeting 7 members of a board with the back of their head facing the audience, with the blue line across the floor, oblong square, 8 feet long, 4 feet wide, for ABC, NBC, CBS, and other news media who would love to attend this public meeting, got all fit into one square at a public meeting here in Valdosta, Georgia. And if that is why, I'm trying to say that, but let me say this to you. We had better wake up in this nation. 15 of us were arrested there at Valdosta City Hall by the previous mayor, John Freddy, and black and white council members who did not respect our First Amendment rights to address our elected officials. We have problems all around the diaspora of South Georgia. And seem like to me, rather than trying to get people trained on open records and the Sunshine Law, and wherein they'll know that they serve the people and the taxpayers, they strike out at us rather than having the governor of the state of Georgia come down and train people on how to respond to the people and the citizens here in Valdosta, Georgia, and Lowndes County and South Georgia in general, without treating them as citizens in some third world communist nation. But we are going, I'm not confused, I'm very clear. In fact, I'm 100% sure that this is going to change. I told Valdosta City Mayor and Council, even before it was changed, that disgraceful 1860 charter would come down, that said in paragraph 100, section 11, that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to control, suppress, and abate all nuisances arising from hogs, dogs, horses, and other animals straying at large in Valdosta and other areas. But they fought it every inch of the way. But eventually God's people, the people who stand up for right, removed it. And they moved it to a location unknown. It was never published where they put that most disgraceful charter. But it was removed eventually. The Barber Park issue, when blacks were excluded from the Barber Park in the black community. One of the councilmen, Sonny Vickers, said he couldn't go in that park. And so a group of people came together and we stood in City Hall and we fought it. And we had it removed. But 15 of us went to jail and it was named Saunders Park. But even the family members probably was against us. But we won it because it was the right thing to do. When integration came about, rather than let blacks in that park, they closed up the swimming pools, sealed and tapped up the artesian wells and never to be used again. And yet, blacks are the one that dominate that area. It was a disgrace. I was told more about Mr. Barber, which I'm not going to mention here. But we brought all these records to the forefront. We did our own research. And I told the city council I was 100% sure that that name would be changed, and it was. I'm not finished yet. Section 3, Title 8 and federal funds is coming into Valdosta and Lowndes County. We have been talking about it for years, and the unfairness of it. VSEB is not working. And so we're talking about a group of people, both black and white, poor people, locked out of a system wherein they can't get the federal dollars that's coming into our community, block grants. And other federal dollars, we are questioning how these dollars are spent. The impediments of analysis was done by G.B.R out of Texas, and they found some discrepancies. And yet, they made promises to us, Mr. John Robinson and myself, Councilman James Wright. We must commend him for the work that he's doing, trying to make inroads into a valley of dry bones when it comes down to being fair to all the citizens here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia. Moreover, where is the mayor, our council members? Where is the chairman of the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners and the commissioners? Where are the governor of the state of Georgia, Nathan Deal? Where are the representatives and others who serve in elected offices? Where are they on the issue that Valdosta and Lowndes County are leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths? You don't see where the governor having issued an executive order. You don't see where the district attorney have sought an independent investigation. You don't see the local news media trying to find out about the complaints in the jail that have existed from 1989. And how women are living in the old jail under inhumane conditions. What are our elected officials saying about it? Why are we continuously sending our sons and daughters to fight in the armed forces to secure these same rights for others, while your own children are catching hell in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and don't anybody want to talk about it? And so, I mean, doing what our news media is supposed to do. A meeting in South Georgia in Brooks County, July the 17th, wherein people had complaints of voter irregularities at the Board of Elections. Nothing, for the most part, published in local newspapers. It was like that meeting was a total whiteout. Valdosta Daily Times, the Equipment Free Press, the Thomasville Enterprise didn't say anything about it for the most part. There was no beef of that meeting. Yet they tell us and parade around the world that we the land of the free, the home of the brave. And I was saddened when I went to Thomasville, Georgia, in the county of Thomas, and discovered that there's not a single black person working